A good eye tracker calibration is essential if you want to get high-quality gaze data. But having the user undergo a lengthy calibration procedure before using the system is not always desirable, and the quality of the gaze recordings after calibration is often still not sufficient. We therefore investigated the question of how to recalibrate gaze data that has already been collected. Traditional 5 or 9-point eye tracker calibration would be too obtrusive in a real-world setting. We therefore want to calibrate the gaze data after it has been collected with a ready-to-use eye tracker. Using the data of 26 real customers of a burger restaurant, we evaluated 4 different recalibration strategies. Since we collected the gaze data in an actual purchase situation from authentic customers, we could not add a validation procedure to assess the quality of the collected gaze data. Therefore, in order to be able to judge the effectiveness of the calibration strategies, we needed some other benchmark for good quality gaze data. We collected this benchmark data in a controlled laboratory study with an initial calibration and a subsequent gaze validation. For the initial calibration, we used a pursuits-based approach where the participants were asked to follow a moving burger icon with their gaze. They were then asked to put together a meal using the same order application that we also used in the field study, and after the experiment, we evaluated the accuracy of the gaze data by asking the participants to look at 5 red circles with known screen positions. From the resulting data, we learned that accurate data shows a very high accumulation of gaze points around the interaction buttons and on the main objects of the interface. We therefore visually examined the gaze data from the field study after applying each calibration strategy. When we detected the typical gaze patterns that we now associated with high-quality gaze data, we classified the calibration as successful. The first calibration strategy that we tested is based on the assumption that users look at interaction elements when they click them. It therefore matches the gaze with the center of a pressed button. This effectively improved the collected gaze data. We then proceeded with a series of saliency-based calibration strategies. Assuming that users look at salient elements first, one strategy is to match the gaze with the center of the largest object on the screen. Another strategy is to align the recorded gaze with the center of the object closest to the recorded gaze, or with the closest one of the 10% most salient pixels. Unfortunately, none of these strategies led to more accurate gaze data when applied alone. However, we suspected that calibration based on the closest large object or individual pixel might be beneficial if the original data is already relatively accurate. We therefore applied these 2 calibration strategies to gaze data that had already been corrected based on interaction-informed calibration. And this indeed resulted in an even more refined calibration in the case of focused saliency correlation. These qualitative analyses showed that the recalibration strategies can effectively improve the quality of recorded gaze data, but in order to validate our findings, we are currently designing a user study to collect gaze data in a controlled setting while the users interact with the ordering software. By then validating the gaze data in a procedure similar to the one applied in the benchmark study, we can quantitatively assess the effectiveness of each calibration strategy. We will conduct the experiment under varying environmental conditions so that the results can again be extrapolated to a real-world setting.